Okay, another Nam Academy video. I said something provocative the other day about money, because money is at the source of a lot of stressors. So, money, financial stress. So, what I said was, I generally avoid lending people money. मैं लोगों ਨੂੰ मैं पैसे loan नहीं कर दूँगा बाला. I have. And there's a reason I don't anymore really do much of that. I give. I give lots. Or what I can anyways. Giving is different. Lending is very different. And so one of the number one stressors that afflict people is money and what they've done with the money. So what we do with money, what is money? Money is a form of property. It's a form of it's the grease that allows the world to run, right? It's things of value exchanged. Economies are built on it. It's necessary. We need money. So when you have it, the world is based on, like, if you don't have money, someone else gained money, right? It's like an exchange. If you get money, someone else lost money. Hopefully they get it from someone else, right? It's kind of this like dynamic game. I read an article saying that trillions of dollars are exchanged every day on Earth. Every day, trillions of dollars. It's just like, how much money moves around? Money is a very, very important thing. Money can be the subject of addiction, such as in... Yeah, that's good. He said... Yeah, right. What he's saying is be careful if you have too much money. Yeah, you know what, there is a thing about, and I'm sorry if anyone is like an inheritance person here, but inheritance, so money that's not earned is one of the worst things. If you talk to anyone who wins the lottery, they'll tell you this. They won't tell you this at the moment, but they'll tell you in about 5 years after. All of the drama, all of the stress, all of the problems, and many of them at the end of it will probably regret having won the lottery. That's probably true. If you have never had $10 million and all of a sudden you do, you're going to create bad decisions. Remember, we just talked about stress. So when you give a bunch of money to a bunch of people who are stressed out, they're going to make decisions, and those decisions, they're going to lend out things. And so today we're going to talk about what happens. So you have money. Good for you. You have money. And you have a person in your life who's low on money. Like, they don't have it. And they're asking you, can you give me money? And you have some, and you want to be nice, and you say, okay, sure, I'll loan you some. There's a problem that comes, which is, why don't they have money? It's a very important question. Why doesn't someone not have money? Kisde koi paise kyun nahi hunde? You should ask yourself that. What has happened such that this person has little money? Because if you don't ask yourself that question, you give them money, you thought you were loaning it to them. They may not know how to spend money. They may not know how to hold on to money. They may have a secret addiction that they're not telling you. They may have creditors. They may have other people who they owe money to. People are very secretive about money. As a therapist, I don't know much about people's money situation. They don't tell me. I don't ask. Because if you go fishing for lies, you're only going to get more lies. Why stress yourself out? Someone wants to tell you, they'll tell you. If they don't, curiosity did kill the cat. But the point is that you don't know much about this person, other than that they don't have money. In our mind, we feel good about loaning people money. Help them out. When they're better, they help you out. Trouble is, it just doesn't work out because there's reasons that usually have to do with addiction and mental health, trauma and all that. Systematic things, family things. Some people, they have like very demanding parents that need their money. A lot of immigrants, they have to send money home. Right? They immigrate in Canada, and everyone in most other countries outside of Canada think money grows on trees in Canada. And the government will just give you everything. And it's like a nice social system. And you tell them, it's like, you have to work like 2 jobs, 16 hours a day. And they don't get that. They just want their paise pejo, right? Like, paise kyun nahi bhejte? Because the exchange rate's favorable. In a lot of countries. This is a big driver of immigrant stress, actually. So when people don't have money, there's reasons they don't have money. Those reasons are complex and not something you're probably going to get into in your friendship or in your family situation. And even if you get into them, there may not be things you can actually deal with. But you loan them the money, and then they don't give it back to you, right? This doesn't work out. That was a fantasy. Or they do this irritating thing, right? Like, here's $5. I'll give you the rest like next month. And you have to ask them 5-10 times, and then they give you another $50. They mean well, but they literally don't have anything. And all of the while, what's happening is you are exchanging negativity. Because the relationship of a creditor with a, creditee, is that what they're called? Creditee? I don't know what they're called. But the relationship with someone who's loaned someone money and someone who owes money is not a positive relationship. It's a relationship where there's guilt, there's anger, there's powerlessness, there's the importance of faking, and every time you ask, you strengthen these, because that's how trauma works. You become traumatizing to them as an individual. Every time you ask, hey, where's my money? Or you ask in a light way, hey, yeah, I gave you some money, anytime you want to send it back, hey. But it's heard loud and clear what you're asking, and it triggers the guilt response, it triggers the anger, it triggers the negativity, and then all of a sudden, you become traumatizing. And what do we do with trauma? We avoid. So then you stop answering the questions. You stop picking up the phone. You see each other at a marriage and they just kind of slip out before you. This is what happens a lot in society. Is there is exchange of money. Now, you could say, no, I didn't give money. I didn't loan it, I gave it. Giving is good, right? Like a mother to a son. See a lot of that around here? Addicted sons have mothers, mothers give them stuff. But it's not necessarily real giving. Because just because they give you money, they may not be expecting money in return. They may be expecting time. They may be expecting love. They may be expecting care. They may be expecting obedience. Lots of alternatives to money, but what's the same is that it's an exchange. You do this, I get this. And as soon as you stop getting that, resentment builds. Because resentment is the gap. Suffering, resentment is the gap between expectation and reality. The bigger the gap, the more suffering there is. The more they don't give you what you ask, what you want, the more this builds subconsciously until it spills over into consciously. So what seems like a simple thing, another common one, in med school I used to do this a lot. I'll buy you your coffee, you get the coffee next time, right? I'll buy you the groceries, and in your mind it's like the 5th time, the 10th time, why am I always the one getting the coffee? You know, like in the mind, it starts to you start asking the question. And so, this is how relationships break. This is why. If you're going to do something, in AA, they say they talk about this. They talk about try to do one thing that's good for someone without them knowing every day. एक चीज करो ਜਿਹੜੀ ਦੂਜੇ ਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਚੰਗੀ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਨਾ ਲੱਗੇ. Wash a dish. But do it in a way so that they don't find out. It's a different kind of mindset. A vakra soch hunda. To do something good for someone without them finding out. We are very capable of charity. Humans can be charitable. In fact, giving, real giving, not the quid pro quo stuff, which is mostly what it is. I'm going to volunteer my time, but I expect a volunteer letter. I'm going to give a donation, but I expect a receipt in return. I expect this. I expect a recognition. I expect. That's not recovery. Because your expectations may not be met. You'll be happy so long as they are, but humans are humans, and at some point they won't meet them. And your expectations become divorced from reality, and you begin to suffer. Resentment builds. I'm just saying, don't live your life that way. If you're going to give someone money, give it. If you're going to give someone money, okay, let's say you don't want to give it. What? Then make them work for it. So that you can feel like, okay, he wants $10. Can you just mow my lawn? And I'll give you $10. Energetically, that's neutral. You gave $10, they did the task, money is given, and in your mind, it's canceled, it's done. You've completed the thought. If you're going to give money to someone with a gambling problem, have them do something. That's productive, that's useful. And in your mind, if they never pay it back, are you going to care? If the answer is yes, don't enter into that. No matter how much that person pleads you, begs you, if you're going to expect something in return that's unreasonable, okay? So time, love, care, obedience, these are unreasonable expectations. Unless it's like your child. But even then, this is the source of trauma, right? This is where trauma comes from. I'll give you an allowance if you give me a hug. Or, like these kinds of things, they don't build healthy human strategies for existing. So we want to structure our lives so that we are thinking of the highest good of the other person. We're finding the win-win. There is a win-win in giving. It's energetically good to give and good to become generous. Because in becoming generous, you will realize there's an infinite amount of stuff, and the more you give, the more you'll get. This is across religions, tithing, like dasvandadena. It's well understood. You give a tenth, you're going to get 10 times more. It's like an energetic strategy. That's why it's across religions. Dasvandakalla sikkhandani sare taega. It's not just the Christians. It's not just the Muslims. Everyone, you give this portion, there's an energetic reason why. It's good to give. There's a win-win in giving, and if you can't give, truly, be honest about it, and then exchange something that's realistic. And then if you have gotten into a loan situation, forgive. Learn to forgive loans and turn them into giving. If you're going to exchange money, then these are the 3 ways to do it. In a way that will not make you suffer and make them suffer. Because you know what? They need you. If they're with addiction and they're having problems, they need you. But they don't know how to work. A lot of people with active addiction, they ask for money. And then they give you a guilt trip when you don't give it. Because their brain's not working good. If their brain was working good, they wouldn't ask you. Or they would ask you in such a way that's reasonable. So, these are my thoughts on how to sort of give responsibly without increasing the energetic disharmony. Finances are a core part of our world. We want to be in harmony. We don't want to be avoidant of them. If you have an addiction, if you have a money problem, think about this. Do I really want to mix money into my relationship with my spouse? Spouses, husband, wives, they need to develop this kind of relationship. The closer it gets to you, the more you want to have just a giving. Transactional realities within spouses, those relationships break. That doesn't work in like a close marriage. That marriage does not work in the long term. So just some concepts to think about. If I've offended, my apologies. But I deal a lot in the world of money, or rather the problems that people come with money. And money has a way of creating a lot of trauma in people's minds. And so it's very important for us to develop. And if you've done some of these things, it's okay. Just don't do more. If you're going to take can I bum a cigarette? Don't say that. I will do this for you if you give me a cigarette. What would you like me to do? Oh, could you wash my windshield? Yeah, I can do that. Give them a reasonable task. Ask for a reasonable task. If you're a person in recovery, don't assume people know how to give money. Make it easy for them. Don't assume other people know how to treat you. But anything that you do with money, let it be neutral. Let it be a zero sum. I'm asking that you give me this. I have no intention or ability to pay you back now or ever in the future. So if you're going to give it unconditionally. Know that the strings attached thing's not going to work. And if you're going to give it strings attached, I can't do it. The other person's being like, okay, I'm not giving you money. Good. Or maybe they'll have like a wake up. Yeah, you know what? Maybe this person just needs it. Here you go. Give and forget. Build that practice by doing something nice for someone without them knowing. That's a thing to practice. Most people, 99.99999% of people are not practiced in giving without recognition of some sort. It's a subconscious thing. You know, it goes back to like mommy and daddy and how you do something and then then they smile, and then that's how it gets exchanged. So then you get conditioned, right? And that's why it's so hard. We're conditioned. We raise our young in a quid pro quo sort of way, and then these concepts become very hard. But you can learn them at any age. Just have to practice. Pray. Prayer is very powerful. You could say a prayer like this: Why Guruji, or God, or whatever. Help me learn how to give without expectation. Simple. And please heal anything that blocks that prevents that without me knowing. That's a simple little prayer you can do to increase your capacity to learn this very important skill that will make your life full of happiness. It's the giving that makes us happy. Exchanging gives you neutral, but neutral is not happy. You want happiness, you want meaning in your life, learn to give and forget. That's an essential recovery skill. Okay, that's all I got on finances. I'll leave it at that. Thank you.